Hello, it is time for your one video of the year by me. This year of 2026, I'll be playing Kenshi, except I can't harm a fly. In this challenge, Smegma the sequel and I, don't worry about the first, will not be attacking a single person or animal. We have ascended beyond attacking with our fists and swords, but with our mind and the sides of our hands. Kenshi allows the player many ways of playing. We will be taking advantage of the assassination and stealth stats that the player can train in order to complete the run. We have one goal in mind: to take down Login, the leader of the Merchants Guild, and he boasts one of the most guarded towns in all of the land without dealing any damage to any NPC. We start the run with choosing the Exiled Shek beginning, a unique beginning from the mod Unique Starts. I have a couple of mods that are just for quality of life, fair warning. We have made enemies with the Shek Kingdom for being too virtuous, and they didn't like that one of their warriors won't pick up a sword. Smegma finds herself in the hub, a destroyed Holy Nation city that's in the center of the bordered zone. Without much needed to start training, we immediately begin sneaking about the town. Sheks have a 20% EXP loss in the health stat, making this run last just a little bit longer. We go straight into the Shinobi Thieves Tower and begin sneaking about the place, trying to pick locks or find anything of value. After that, we didn't really find anything, so our first attempt on somebody's life is the Twitchy Bar Thug, which we actually knocked out with a 6% chance on the first try, but when we tried again, she followed us to the gate and began kicking our butts in. And you can cheese this pretty well. After getting our ass handed to us, Smegma lies dying outside the city's gates, not even living for a single day. As she lies, I reconsider my life choices. Just like how her blood flows down the stairs, my life flows down the stairs as insanity. With Smegma dead, I select a new game with the same start, but I don't try to knock out the Twitchy Bar Thug this time, thus giving birth to Smegma the sequel, our actual main character of the story. Noting the blood on the floor, fun fact, if you start a new game in Kenshi, it uses the previous world. So if that makes sense, it's basically like importing a save over. So it's the same world, everything you build is the same, and it moves over. Going back to what I said this time, while the guards are not distracted, I knock out and rob the bar thug while they lay lifeless on the desert sand. On to our next target, we find some hungry bandits and attempt to knock them out. We fail on our first try, and we run for the bar, that way we have somebody else to clean up our mess. But halfway through they decide it isn't worth their time, so Smegma sneaks her way back and they catch her at the gate. They beat her down with their iron sticks and knock her to the floor. And she's out. With Smegma sitting on a -21 to her chest, it doesn't look good for us, but luckily, because of their blunt weapons, she's able to heal after a short recovery coma, this being one of many. In the morning of day 2, we wake up on the cold sand outside of the hub, bright and early. Going to the leader of the bandits, since they carry the best loot, including wooden sandals, by far the best shoes in my opinion, since they give no debuff and increase running speed. We then sell everything in the bar, buy some simple first aid kits and a ration pack, and say hello to the bar thug once again. Deciding on to terrorize people outside the city minding their own business, we approach a hungry outlaw as the sun rises, and we fail again, getting knocked out by his club. We walk to his sleeping bag and decide to heal out our chest, which is smashed to bits. We see another outlaw walking about and we try to knock out this gentle lady, and typically we fail and take the beating. If we fail a knockout, it's almost a guaranteed knockout for them, as all we can do is dodge and we can't attack back. After waking up, we head into the small shack for loot, and for the food, and the items we can sell inside the shack. Lore-wise, the shack tells a cool story of a Holy Nation scout that was stationed to spy on the shack or something. I haven't read the notes in a while. We use the free bed and head back to the bar to sell all the items and buy more food. My idiot self tried to take down the Hound's pacifier, resulting in the guards fighting me and brutally beating me. Oh well, we heal our wounds and take the toughness XP. Smegma crawls towards the bar and pays for a bed to sleep through the night of day 2 and on to day 3. On day 3, we see some holy outlaws walking by the bar and we close in on the attempt, failing a 62% knockout chance, which is just ridiculous. Since they were part of the bar's faction, nobody helps me or heals me after being shot in the head. Now dying on the floor, some slave mongers pick up Smegma and unfortunately enslave us. With no clue where we are going and being relocated to, we have no choice but to play along and let it ride. As Smegma sleeps on a dude's back in the distance, we see a world change around her as we close in on the Holy Nation territory. I fear that they may take us to Rebirth, which would be the worst case scenario I fear. As I get the title screen that shows we enter Okran's Gulf and past the shack, even though I'm a pacifist, I'd really like to kill this guy carrying me. He's a dick. The slavemonger dicks head towards the valley that I fear that they are indeed taking me to Rebirth, and in turn taking my video towards another direction that can be a whole nother video on itself, which I don't want to walk into yet. Getting escorted by a Holy Nation escort of holy dicks. I hope Smegma wakes up and locks in soon. With -10 to our head and passing by Blister Hill, it's really a race against the clock to see if they get there first or I wake up. Luckily, I wake up before we enter the canyon and we immediately take off behind a huge rock and pick our shackles off. Sadly, we now look like slaves, which will in fact hinder us in the future and come back to bite us in the ass. Back to our normal life of slightly disturbing people's lives, we knock out a hungry bandit leader for our sandals back. Where we escaped was a shitty spot as we were in between the Fog Islands and Holy Nation. Not wanting to be eaten by crazy bug fiends, we try our luck walking through the Holy Nation to head towards the Great Desert. Now most surprisingly, we walked through the Xenophobes territory without a single issue, making our way to the United Cities territory. The Skim Sands, a place that ends most early runs due to the skimmers that deal a massive wallop, but they aren't fast. We barely end up faster than the skimmers that lay here and wait for unsuspecting travelers. In the distance, behind a huge skeleton, we see two things, Tengu's Vault and a herd of skimmers that want Smegma's flesh for an appetizer. Being said, we are faster than them, and the only option I see is to run for the vault. But, in a horrible turn of events, manhunters appear, which encourage the guards to recognize the fact that I am a slave as well. But we're from the Holy Nation. How does that make sense? How do they know that I'm a slave from the Holy Nation, even though my horns aren't cut? Anyways, they beat me to a pulp, and I try to run some maneuvers on them. But once they hit my legs, I know it's a done deal, and Smegma falls. Interestingly, they take me inside of the vault to rot. But being an optimist today, I realized that this is an incredible way to train with little to no danger. This is their worst mistake, and I think I found my new goal, and that's to imprison every guard in the vault. They won't expect this. Guards of a faction really like to beat the shit out of you if you try to escape, but at the same time, they won't kill you. Now, you can also put yourself in their cage, which will make them forget all about you escaping and begin to heal you again and re-imprison you, i.e. taking all your weapons and items from your inventory. Me being a certified Kenshi veteran, I begin to pick the locks and begin the silly montage loop of escape, knockout, enter cage, and repeat. Over the course of 15 in-game days or 3 hours, I do this till the point of taking the vault from within. Letting other prisoners out to distract guards, talking to crazy people, and harassing anyone within sight, because what are they gonna do? I'll just hop inside a cage and they have to, by video game limitation, let me be and heal. I start to scout out the building for the head honcho, the vault warden, holder of the May 2 weapon Jitty, that I can't use and it sells for dirt cheap anyways. Attention, this loop will skyrocket your bounty, but not to worry because this loop will ensure the death of that said faction, so it wouldn't matter anyways. At night hours, I sneak about upstairs until they see me, then promptly jump into a cage. At this moment, everyone is my bitch. I even loot this guy's armor, whose name is Weird, and I learn he doesn't last long. Whereas everyone here is just like me and can take the armor off my skin through a cage, even worse through a wall, you'll see Smegma constantly changing outfits as guards and prisoners alike in cages keep taking my armor, somehow. I even start to practice on my fellow prisoners in front of the guards. No one is safe. Holy Paladin, Prisoner Guard, everyone is getting touched by Smegma the sequel. Turns out I fucked around too much, and at this point my bounty is notorious and will never expire. Usually late game player deals with these, unless you're dumb like me. I accidentally broke Hex out, a unique prisoner that will follow you until he dies or escapes. He will make random collabs throughout this massive heist. I take a chance on this lonely guard healing a prisoner and fail. After some time, this number will rise oh so fast, and soon no one will be able to resist my clever moves. On day 7, we find ourselves battered and bruised, and we look at our stats. With my leg so badly beaten, I decided to let Smegma heal for a bit, that way my stats aren't hindered down too much. I'm not working with a lot anyway, so it'll be better in the long run for me not to get hit. You notice that the hat I took from Yabuta is now missing on some random prisoner's head now. See, it kind of just goes around the circle, you know? Hex, now just looking at me from outside of the cage, gets his shit rocked right in front of me as I watched. Our main hero finds herself within Tengu's vault. Beaten, battered, and bruised, it is in Smegma's best interest to lay low for the time being while her leg recovers. Our current short-term goal for Smegma within this prison is to knock out one guard. Currently, her chances of succeeding is 21%, so we know it's possible. On the evening of day 7, we wait for the night to fall upon the fortress before Smegma decides to strike again. I prepare the upcoming night by picking the lock, but the guards have caught on to the fact that we are being excessively aggressive and immediately know when we escape our cage. Spending time moving from cage to cage, we get attacked almost immediately. We repeat the cycle. Eventually, I realize that the reason they see us so easily is due to our low sneak stat, which sits at 36. It wouldn't hurt in the long run if I spent some time training this stat. Stealth is an overall overpowered stat in this game, but it doesn't take too long to get to the point of Sneak 100. So, I changed my plan for the time being. Instead of attempting to knock out guards, I prioritize sneaking around until it gets to a point where I can't be detected. The guards are so bored that they come up in waves and beat up a single prisoner that thinks they have a chance to walk out. Even just walking about the top level, the guards are set up to look at every blind spot. This allows just short windows between shift rotations to train my sneak among my fellow prisoners. I find this part ironic. To release this paladin as a Shek woman, you don't commonly find paladins in prison. So this, even to me, is unique dialogue. Some gross rat stole Smegma's pants at some point in time. Just weird. Our first milestone is when we take out a samurai sergeant. We loot his inventory, not even leaving scraps, and put him in a cage. He's the first of many to fall by my hands, and this is my mission, and I'll do nothing to stop this horrible, pointless vault to be destroyed. In a bittersweet moment, the sergeant's fellow soldier begins to shackle him to his cage, where he will be a fellow prisoner now forever. They even add a cherry on top and enslave him. This sergeant begins to cause problems for me though. If I am in a cage next to him, he will always loot my body. Just something to pay attention to. At this point in time, not a lot will happen until we knock out our next guard, which will eventually snowball. So, Smegma grinds stealth until she gets spotted by the guards. Like the festering virus from within the vault, the morning of day 9 dawns upon an extremely lucky moment. As we knock out the vault warden, with only a 6% chance, putting him in a cage as soon as possible. This was our break, only with 61 assassination. Even getting another sergeant in the shackles as well. Once the ball starts to roll, we can't stop. At this point in time, I gain some freedom within the vault, allowing me more or less to look around for boxes and find food, or anything that can help us when we want to get ourselves out of this place. X, back to being useless as ever, finally wakes up from a recovery coma and tries to limp out of the prison, failing to do so. Now, I have a high and mighty 85,000 cap bounty, making me pretty high on the United City's problems list. I feel special to have accrued this number, and would like to see how high it goes. I am now able to knock out the guards here pretty consistently, looting their swords and putting them into cages where they will rot for the rest of time. It's quite funny to see the guards shackle their comrades, their allies that they have known potentially for years, just like that. Now, with enough guards in cages, we can loot the safe the warden used to protect, finding armor and weapons of the previous prisoners that have been here for some time. This is where I am running out of cages to put guards into. The result of this is me needing to over time release random prisoners so that I can put a guard in their place. I even choose the most accessible cage in the middle of the room to keep empty in case when shit hits the fan and I need to avoid a beating. Our protagonist makes two new friends, Esfer and Luquin. Over a plate of gutter innards, enlightened by our mission and a new way of life that doesn't encourage the pain of others, they have agreed to ally with Smegma after this is over. She runs outside of the prison to get a head count of the guards, with a long way to go after the guards at the gate. Back into the prison, we resume the cycle and we see the guards begin beating this one Shek to a pulp. Being that he is a brother, we heal him back to health and distract the guards, and they start to beat on us instead. The Shek's name is Sinclair, and he appreciated this act of kinship. Even though he said that he won't join us, he will help when the time is right for the prison break. Sadly, the guards caught up to our plan and hacked off Luquin's arm and leg, in a way to hinder our escape. He was barely breathing, and now is in a coma for some time, along with Esper, who got his chest caved in by an angry guard. Alright guys, I made a choice. I thought about what if we could convert the warden into our side. So my dumb head thought about what if we gave the warden armor and a sword, then release him. I thought he would maybe attack the guards since he's a slave, but he didn't. He just massacred Esper and I at the gate. Killed us. Not really, but he knocked us out. Now with my problem back at large, it will be some time to get him under reins again. Smegma sits in a recovery coma at a -72 to her chest. We count our losses and wait for one of us to wake up. By the time a guard heals us, we hit -82, which isn't ideal. While we lay on the cold floor, we watch Esfer, who lays at the prison gate. The moment Esfer woke up, he was beaten back to the ground and imprisoned. Pro tip: looting the small medkits from the guards you imprison will give you more control of your situation. For an example, when Esfer got his leg hacked off, I was able to heal him back up so he wouldn't die. By the time the guards would have gotten to him, he could have died. He could have bled out. We sit in a weird position where our allies will now pick their own locks and follow me wherever I go. This annoying outcome will mean that they will stand outside of my cage and get repeatedly beaten up and thrown back into a cage. A pro from this though will be that the guards will come up to me and I can just knock them out in turn while they are distracted, facing the other way. We see that over time the guards will begin to use up their medkits that they carry and will now not heal the prisoners. This we must make up for if we want our friends to make it out alive. When I had Smegma don the armor of a guard of the United Cities, they finally viewed me as a real threat and are now hostile towards me. I didn't even step into any major city. I guess word travels far from Tengu's vault. We see that Sinclair makes a run for the gate, so I take the time to assess my situation and knock out a few guards. In this point of the run, I really focus on my mission to imprison the rest of the guards instead of lollygagging. In front of me sits 3 guards, and I take one and promptly set him in a cage. Then another, making sure to grab the medkit from his inventory. Since the guards are now refusing to heal most of us, they probably don't have any more medkits. I only managed to take 2 of the 3 guards and reinforcements come. With all of our allies knocked cold, we have time to focus on my mission and short-term goal. 1 guard, 2 guard, 3 guard, 4 guards all fall in a short manner of time. This allows more freedom in the cell room. I sneak around a corner and take out a 5th guard who is looting one of his allies in this mess. I find the Meitu Jitty in his body that has been tossed around numerous times at this point and secure it in a barrel. But by the way, I later forget to grab this on our way out. But it's not very useful to me anyways. We're not using weapons this run. In a swift motion, we take out another guard and place him in a cage after removing a dead body of a poor soul who could not get aid. I spend the time doing some cage management, basically emptying all the cages of dead bodies so I can put more guards in the cells. Now, I am forced to move down the vault and walk further to cage guards, making use of the prisoner pole that's on the 2nd floor, knocking out a total of 3 guards. I now see a very big gap in security at this point, with the vault having more guards in cages than actually walking about. Taking a minute to get a head count of the open cages as I walk up onto a guard and seal his fate. Now, we sit in an empty vault that was once a formidable fortress, now lays an empty shell of starving guards. An ironic ending to their fate, what lies next in. me looting the building for any food and clothes that will give us a better shot outside the vault. The only few that remain are the guards at the gate, and we plan our next move accordingly. Stealing back my clothes that I had at the start, I found them in a chest at the first floor. Smegma returns to her normal outfit and finds a chest full of food in the corner. It takes a minute to steal all of this food and learn the blueprints, but I eventually find everything of use. All we have left are these 8 guards that stand between me and freedom. An opportunity, though, shows herself when a band of rebel farmers attack the gate. Now these guards come to us one by one, and we promptly add them to my collection. With 2 already in, and the rest swiftly coming in with their haul, we have to play this next part out safely. With 4 running into the vault, I am about to show you how broken these stats can be. How many are coming in? 4? Well, I'm about to show you how Kenshi can be broken once you spend a couple days just grinding it up. Knocked out. Completely hidden in plain sight, we take out the 4 guards and let them stay at their forever home. In here. Put him in there. Kidnap him. The holy. This guy in there. Now, down to 2 more guards. 1 brings a body, and we actually fail this KO the first time, but win it the second time before they do too much damage. For a final time, we loot the remaining medkits and anything else of value. We collect our friends and belongings and head for the final guard. And thunk, we did it. From within, Tengu's vault lays in ruins, with its demise being true irony, as the mistreating, corrupt guards get a taste of their own medicine, forever being locked away until they starve. We wait for Esfer to wake up from losing 2 limbs. He hovers over a body and loots a sword he will never use. With our ragged team of misfits, including me, Esfer, Luquin, Sinclair, and a random nobody, we limp towards a way station, avoiding skimmers and other alike through the night of day 13. In the distance, we see a skimmer feasting upon a poor Greenlander, heading towards new horizons without harming a single soul. The prisoner, with no name, decides to part ways with us shortly after the morning of day 13. Unfortunately, it becomes a slippery slope as we approach roaming skimmers, and one manages to sneak up on Sinclair, taking him out along with the prisoner. Even though this resulted in him losing his leg, miraculously, the skimmer leaves the rest of us alone for some reason. As we crawl along the edge of the Black Desert, we finally get our new teammates to fully convert to our side. Esfer and Luquin, both crippled, but at least dedicated to my movement. Some time has passed. With the vault now a memory of the past, where Smegma finds herself in a life of crime, needing limbs for her new friends, she has been living in the Black Desert City, where she finds a skeleton named Sadniel, who agreed to give her guidance over the Black Desert City. In turn, she will take him around to see the world, and to take down Longan, who Sadniel's friend Razor has a bounty against due to a shitty party. We begin our next heist, to accrue wealth and limbs. Now, in the robotics shop, we begin to knock out the skeletons and steal all the best limbs we can get. We take out 2 before failing and running for the acidic hills. Then, doubling back to assassinate. Morale is low since we have no money and barely any medical supplies or food. We decide, over brute force, and place Sadniel inside the store to lay in wait. Since he's a skeleton, they won't pay 2 mind for him or his antics. Along the way, we somehow got these robot allies who began following me in a random building. I don't know, man, I just walked in a building and they started following me, so I made the most of it. This time, Smegma moves swiftly into the building, knocking out and disarming guards, just like she did at the prison while these aimless robots aid in distraction. Finally, with persistence, we take out all of the guards and gain free reign of the shop, allowing our friends to finally get limbs. We even make out with extras to sell for some wealth to our faction. We will buy food and supplies that we need for our second to final target. As we head towards the way station, where Smegma hoped that her friends will still be there waiting, we look into our stuffed bags at the limbs we secured. Finally entering the station, Esfer and Luquin are now able to walk and become useful to us. Esfer, with the scout limbs, can run at 52 miles per hour, and Luquin, with the stealth limbs to aid in extraction. We now lay dust to any nay-doers that try to cause us harm. Our third to final target, the Scrap House, home to the skeleton masters that for centuries have made the finest weapons, armor, and blueprints. Made the finest weapons and armor and blueprints of the land of Kenshi has ever seen, along with ancient technology that fetches a hefty price to the tech hunters. Dak, being the big boss running the place, since the Second Empire, we place our soldiers in position and knock out a guard in the dark, then another. Being in the dark, these guards really struggle to register us in the background. Alas, Smegma fails against Dak, and they chase her into a neighboring city and past. This was part of our plan, while Sadniel stayed behind and began looting the building while the masters were out. Smegma runs for her life as Dak chases close behind. We find an iron spider to attack Dak with some convincing, of course, to no avail. But after time, Dak begins to cripple after time and time again fighting spider after spider. Meanwhile, we take Sadniel upstairs to the bar and begin an exploit to pick up stolen items to level thievery. Dak still follows Smegma to Skinner's Realm, where Smegma has an idea. He remembers that the Holy Nation do not like skeletons at all. But first, an army of hungry bandits intervene and attack Dak and I. After 1,000 blows, Dak soon falls by his chest. Smegma carries Dak as close as she can to the holy mines in the distance. But since she can't fight the hungry bandits, she falls to the floor with all her limbs broken and shattered. When she awakens, Smegma has no choice but to cut her loss and let Dak free while she sneaks to a bed, since she can't heal because of her arms. Now, Luquin begins learning the art of thievery, working on picking up heavy weapons as quietly as possible. As quickly as she enters, Smegma was knocked out and let out to lay on a paladin's shoulder. We will let her sit in the background for a moment while we get our hens in a bunch. We at the very least send Sadniel to take care of this matter. Now, Sadniel manages to get the paladin to release Smegma and distract those guards, so she can crawl to a bed undetected and finally rest and recover. This in turn's so annoying. This in turn takes out Sadniel, and he is now also enslaved and put into a cage, where he cannot be healed. Back in the Deadlands, Luquin secured a hefty thievery stat, and begins the last heist in order to reach financial freedom. With no sight of Dak, Luquin makes a loot attempt on the guards and fails the first time and runs away. I'm so annoying, back and forth all the time. Just never ends. Esfer, on the other hand, jumps in while the guards are distracted and steals an AR core along with some crossbows and a crossbow. I wrote that twice in the script. Steals an AR core along with some crossbows. No, a crossbow. Now, Luquin has some time to save Sadniel and heal Smegma. With the team finally showing some promise, we just need to regroup for one final lick. Weird to see that the Holy Paladins allow Sadniel to heal right in front of them. I mean, he's just standing here healing. I thought the Holy Nation hated skeletons. While he's doing that, Esfer makes it to the bar to sell the items he acquired. Back at the mines, I know, a lot of back and forth. This is what happens when your group's separated in Kenshi. Back at the mines, Sadniel grabs his loot bag and gets the heck out of Dodge. A lot is happening right now, but we finally get back on our feet and Esfer shows us a thievery exploit, where you steal items from a person playing dead. This skyrockets thievery, and now he has a stat at 53, more than enough. We sell everything and now having 100,000 cats without attacking anyone. Crazy, right? You usually think that you can get cats by killing people, taking their loot, and selling it, or even bounty hunting. We didn't do any of that. We just steal. We just knock them out and steal. Didn't turn in a single bounty this run. In between, we get Smegma and Sadniel back to prepare to clean out the scrapyard for one last time. Now, this one last time, we make it into the scrapyard, taking out Quinn and looting all of the ancient technology we can get our hands on. All the soldier bots didn't seem to care to see us stealing, as well as the spiders didn't care to see us stealing either, as long as Dak and Quinn were out of the picture. We make a run back to the way station to sell this big haul. In the end, our squad makes it out with 349,296 cats in our pockets. We have reached the beginning to an end. Our squad heads towards Heft to assassinate our final target, Longin. Now, we have come a long way, and Smegma is ready to put an end to a faction that has treated her wrong, without even taking a chance to know her. She is the reason the Vault Warden is dead. On day 20, Longin is taken down. If you liked the video, give me a subscribe and a like. It'll go a long way for me, and I will always appreciate it. Feel free to leave a comment. I'll be sure to read every single one of those. And as well, feel free to leave any challenge ideas, as I'm very open to any excuse to playing Kenshi. So let me know.